Hey, greetings! Welcome back to Sean's Irish Whiskey Shelf, coming at you from the heart of the United States out here in the Midwest. And before we get started this evening, I need to give a shout out to my favorite retailers, Hard To Find Whisky. You can find them right down there at htfw.com. Great selection, fast shipping. Yes, they're overseas, but that means they can sometimes get a hold of things that we can't find here in the States. Not just Irish whiskey, but bourbon and scotch and rye and other kinds of adult beverages, tequila, rum, vodka. So give them a look-see. If you're looking for something and can't find it in the States, hey, maybe give Hard To Find Whisky a shot. Like I said, they ship quickly. Their overseas shipping is very reasonable. And if you buy something from them, I don't think you're going to go wrong. You'll be very pleased. So this evening, I have a bottle that I purchased from Hard To Find Whisky. This is Fercullen Falls Small Batch, and it's a blend. It's a 50-50 blend of single grain, single malt. Fercullen Falls is the name of the largest waterfall in Ireland. And this is put together by the Powerscourt Distillery, which is out at the Powerscourt estate. Now, the Powerscourt Distillery is a very new distillery to the scene of Irish whiskey. It put out its first drops of whiskey in 2019. Took about 4 years to develop. The founders of the distillery went to the managing folks at the Powerscourt estate and said, hey, we've got this beautiful estate here. Maybe we could put a distillery here, use some of the existing buildings out here at the estate. The estate agreed, and 4 years later, Powerscourt Distillery was in business. In fact, they're using a building that was built back in the 18th century for their distilling operations. So Fercullen Falls is, like I said, it's the largest waterfall in all of Ireland. The water that goes over that falls eventually ends up in the aquifer there at Powerscourt estate, and they use that water plus locally sourced barley to create their whiskey. So it's all very local right there. Also, Powerscourt Estates is still open to the public. You're welcome to stop by and take a tour, maybe stay at the estate's hotel. From what I saw online, it's a beautiful place. And if you were going to Ireland, and we're going to be in the area, like I said, this is about 30 miles or so southeast of Dublin, you might want to stop by and say hi. It looks like a really, really nice way to spend part of your day. So, all right, let's talk about this. So, as I mentioned, this is a 50-50 blend, single malt, single grain, very new. And the maturing process for this is in ex-bourbon casks and then heavily charred oak casks. So you're getting some of the flavor from the bourbon, and you're going to get some of that nice smoky flavor from the heavily charred oak. It's 86, I believe. Yep, this is 86 proof. So not too bad. A little bit more than your standard run-of-the-mill Irish whiskey. Now, you should be able to find this for about 40 bucks. It's not an expensive whiskey. And we're going to taste it here and see what it's like. See if it's, if you can hold it up there to some of the other blends that we've tried. The only problem I had when I was pouring the whiskey is my cork came apart. My cork came apart. The glue came undone. The top came off the cork. So I'm kind of hesitant to push that all the way down because I had to struggle a little bit to get it out. So if you do happen to find a bottle, hopefully your cork will stay together a little bit better. Right? So, yeah. Also, real quick, I wanted to mention Fercullen was the name of an area that's used to stretch from Dublin all the way to and over the Wicklow Mountains. Now, over time, that area has gradually shrunk as counties grew and cities grew, and the political landscape changed. But at one time, Fercullen was a very, very large area in that part of Ireland. So, all right, here we go. So, Fercullen Falls, small batch, blended whiskey, 50-50, single grain, single malt, bourbon and oak. Let's see what we got here. That's not too bad, folks. That's not too bad at all. For a $40 bottle of whiskey, that's really good. Now, I do get some of the sweetness. Okay. It's a little bit on the sweeter side of a blend. But, wow, that is a really fine drop of whiskey. I can see that if Powerscourt Distillery is putting out this kind of whiskey, that they're going to be successful. And before long, they're going to be up there with the names of Jameson and Bushmills and Tullamore, because I would gladly spend $40 again on this bottle of small batch blend. And what I wanted to do this evening, because as I talked in some of my older shows, that I would compare whiskeys in the past that really had no business being compared to each other. But this is a blend, and I wanted to try to compare it to another blend that was similarly priced, similarly finished. So, pulled down Jameson Black Barrel. Now, we haven't talked a whole lot, I should say, about Jameson. But in this case, it's a different whiskey than just the standard Jameson. Okay, Jameson Black Barrel is by far a better whiskey than just your run-of-the-mill Jameson. Now, the price on Jameson Black Barrel is going to be a little more than $40. I've seen it priced in the $55, $60 range around here, so it's a little bit more expensive. But you are getting a whiskey that supposedly, because they try to keep it under wraps, but it's been whispered, it's been rumored that the Black Barrel part comes from the fact that they have matured this in double charred barrels, double charred bourbon barrels, in fact. So you're starting to get kind of the similarities here. All right, we know these are blends. We suspect that not only is this matured in a charred bourbon barrel, but that there's also a little more grain whiskey in it than the standard Jameson. So it may not be exactly the same, but it's going to be fairly close. And what I want to do, or my goal here, is to try the Black Barrel and see how it compares to the Fercullen Falls, and would it be worth that extra $20 or so? Are you getting that much difference? So let's give Jameson Black Barrel a try. And I can tell, looking at the glass, that the Jameson Black Barrel, and you can probably see it, right there on camera, the Jameson Black Barrel is going to be a little bit darker. Fercullen Falls, heavily charred barrels. Jameson Black Barrel, they talk about double charred barrels. So you might get a little bit more darkness to it. And there also is a rumor, unconfirmed, that they might also finish this in sherry casks or sherry butts. So again, you can't prove it. There's nothing out there that substantiates that, just rumors. But anyway, let's try it. Let's put some Jameson Black Barrel here and see how that compares to their Fercullen Falls. So, I believe, and really quick, I wanted to check here. Is this 80? Yep, this is 80. I thought it was. So between the two, if you like a little bit more of that char taste, you're going to want to go with the Jameson Black Barrel. Because the Jameson Black Barrel easily has more of that char taste to it than the Fercullen Falls. I think what the Jameson Black Barrel lacks, though, is a little bit more of the complexity that I get out of the Fercullen Falls. Because, I'll tell you what, the tastes that I'm getting out of this whiskey, wow. I can definitely pick up the single malt, and I can definitely pick up the grain. But we know the grain is not my favorite, and the grain is not overpowering the single malt in this. So they complement each other very nicely, and they give it a very nice complexity that I find very pleasing. I honestly would take this as an everyday sipper. It's on the higher end of what I want to pay for an everyday sipper, but my goodness, that's a really good drop of whiskey. The Jameson Black Barrel, on the other hand, I'm not saying this is a bad drop of whiskey. Not at all. It's not bad. But I don't think it's as good as the Fercullen Falls. I find this to be a little less flavorful, maybe a little flatter even. The taste profile, while you get more of that char taste out of this, it doesn't like pop in your mouth. It doesn't give you that explosion of flavor like I get with the Fercullen Falls. Single malt, single grain are not my cup of whiskey, but this is really good. I can't say enough about it. So this was a great purchase, other than, cork coming apart. It was a great purchase. I really like that. And if you happen to find Fercullen Falls small batch blend whiskey on a shelf at a retailer near you or your favorite internet retailer, you would do yourself a favor and pick up a bottle of that and give it a try, especially if your palate's like mine. Everyone's palate's different. That's what makes the world go round, right? We all have our own palate, and heck, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have so many whiskeys out there. But that's my take on Fercullen Falls small batch blend. Great drop. Love it. I'd come back and drink this anytime. So I hope you liked this video as much as I liked producing it, and I liked drinking the Fercullen Falls. If you did like it, hey, go down in the corner, click that thumbs up for me. It's down there in that corner right there. It takes you just a couple of seconds, and man, it means a lot to me. It lets me know that you're enjoying my content. Keeps the YouTube algorithms happy too. So that's important. And if you want to know when my next video comes out, try to do it once a week. You go down there in that other corner over there and you look for the subscribe button, click on that. And then if you want to be notified, you click on the bell and you'll be notified when I release a new video. Next video should be in about a week, as always. Oh, I'm not sure what we're going to do just yet, but I'm sure I will find something in these bottles behind me here that we're going to crack open and see. I don't have anything new coming right now, so we'll probably revisit something that either we've looked at in the past, or there's a couple bottles we have yet to crack open. So we'll figure that out. But until we meet again, enjoy your drop of whiskey. I hope you all enjoy a drop of whiskey, because any reason to have that drop of whiskey is a great reason but please do it responsibly so you can be here next week. And until we do that, I want you to be well and be safe. All right? Sláinte. Bye now.